Welcome to Open Pike Night's Strange New Words series, where we go behind the scenes with the writers of Strange New Worlds. I'll be your solo host today, Cameron Harrison. John and Jesse went down to an abandoned medical facility. They were followed closely by a rogue Klingon ship, but I'm sure everything's fine and they won't be back trying to eat my brains. It'll be fine. But here with me today, we finally caught them all. The writer of both Shuttle to Kenfori and Through the Lens of Time. Things are about to get spooky here. It's Onitra Johnson.
Hello.
Thank you so much for making some time to come on and talk to us. It'll be fun now. Like we've been doing these interviews as the series episodes have dropped, but now that the whole season's out, we can kind of look at everything in the bigger picture, especially since your two episodes were so kind of closely tied in with the season's arc.
Yeah, exactly. Which was really interesting, but go ahead.
Well, let's start with this, Onitra, because last time you were here, we were talking about season 2, and you had mentioned casually that there were no episodes you fought for in season 2, but in season 3, there was an episode you fought for. Did you get the episode you fought for? Or do you remember what you were talking about?
I do not remember what I was talking about. But I don't. I got the 2 episodes that I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed writing, and is closest to my creative heart.
Okay.
I really do enjoy horror, except for slasher horror. I enjoy most aspects of horror, and I really do love fantasy. So both of those episodes, both of my episodes, one had horror and the other one had fantasy with some horror in it. So which was great. So I don't remember fighting, but I remember being excited by the episodes I got.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay. Maybe that's all it was. Maybe you didn't have to fight.
Yeah.
Well, they were also, let me just jump to this because we will get into the horror. They were also the 2 most Indiana Jones-ish episodes of the season. Was that a coincidence, or is that something you brought to them?
I think that was a coincidence. I think Davey and Bill and myself probably just grew up loving Indiana Jones.
Sure. I'd be worried if you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I think when you're writing, you just tend to bring in the things that you love, especially in the space that you're writing, right? So yeah, Indiana Jones was something we unconsciously we probably went through. D&D, probably something unconsciously
Davey
we went through.
Spoke about that with Through the Lens of Time for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You guys having to play Dungeon Master with the map.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of that informs the writing, which, you can see that across a lot of different shows, so.
Well, yeah, you did get the 2 most horror-centric ones this time around. What are some of your favorite horror movies? Can you talk about your history with the genre?
Yeah. So my favorite right now off the top of my head is, actually, I'll say 2. The Babadook and Talk to Me.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen Talk to Me yet, but...
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it.
All right.
It's really good.
Wait, I'm sorry. That's the one with the candle?
No, it's the one with the hand.
The hand, yes, the spooky hand. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. No, I did see that one. It was one of those, I actually had a day off and me and my buddy went to the theater, and that one was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really good. I enjoy horror that has something deeper to say about, I'm going to call it the human condition, psychology, like with the Babadook. It's not just talking about grief, but it's talking about the loneliness of being a single mother and not having anyone around you help you or listen. There's so many different layers. That was what I watched that film in film school. And before that, I hadn't really thought about my relationship to horror. And my professor, he's wonderful. He just started asking us questions. I really started thinking about what it is I'm watching. And that's when I realized, I said, yeah, that's my type of horror. And Talk to Me as well. There's so many different layers that you can get from watching that. And I will say, Barbarian was actually, it's not a favorite, but I really enjoyed it. That was a wild ride.
That's one I need to watch. I started it one night and it hooked me, and I have kids, so it's hard to make the time. Yeah,
I understand that. But if you get a chance, because you're horror movies where you can laugh in a minute laugh in the middle to kind of release that tension, like Drag Me to Hell. I really enjoy that as well. Those are great.
Evil Dead's the movie that got me interested in making movies. So yeah, anything Sam Raimi related for sure.
Yeah. Evil Dead's great. Army of Darkness is my favorite as a child. But we can
Yes.
see why it's so light. But Evil Dead was amazing.
We got to get Bruce Campbell onto Star Trek sometime, Onitra. How do we do
Exactly.
this?
No idea. You'll have to ask Henry and Akiva. I have no idea how that works.
I will. I will. Well, yeah, and then how about zombie movies specifically? Any favorites there? Any tropes that you and Bill kind of went in being like, we have to hit these, or let's try to avoid these?
My personal favorite will always be 28 Weeks Later.
Hmm.
I remember watching that movie and it was a fantastic ride.
Weeks, not days.
Excuse me, days. I
Okay.
said weeks. There's so many
Weeks.
28
Weeks is
days.
solid too. No, yeah,
Weeks
yeah.
is solid, but it's not 28 days later. Sorry, days.
Fair. I just wanted that on the record. I didn't want anyone
I
atting you over
appreciate
that.
Like, Onitra, what? You forgot. No, 28 days later is a really great,
That's so good.
especially because the zombies aren't dead. It's really about rage.
Hmm.
As we the opening with the monkey is so amazing. And it's funny because you look at that and then you compare it to The Walking Dead. It kind of has that similar opening where your character is able to discover the new world they're in because they weren't there when shit hit the. Oh, I'm sorry, might not be able to cuss.
You
Where things
absolutely are encouraged to cuss. Yes.
Oh, okay. Where shit hits the fan, which is a really, 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 really good way for not only your main character, but the audience to discover
Hmm.
the rules of this world and what's going on. Remember that scene where he walks into the church and that priest is there? It's
Hmm.
freaking amazing. And then all the other ones pop up, their mouth is open. It definitely, I think, redefine what you can do with zombies. And I love that.
Hmm.
If I remember correctly about what so the everything's really done within the room, right? So it's not just me and Bill.
Right.
And I believe a majority of the writers love zombie movies. And so everyone, it was like the first step was trying to define what kind of zombies are we making. They're fast, they're slow. And so everyone together sort of decided what rules they wanted for their Trek zombies.
Hmm.
And our director Dan added his because he worked on The Walking Dead, so
Right.
he added his layers of how he envisioned the zombies, and so it kind of all like anything creative is a team sport, and it all came together.
Very true. But also, some credit was given to you. Bill mentioned that you really kind of fought for the creeping dread part of that episode, which is what I loved. I love that journey through the jungle. It's, again, that kind of Indiana Jones feel, but there is this creeping dread, even though you're in direct sunlight. And we kind of talked about Dan's contribution to how he made light as scary as shadow.
Yes.
But that creeping dread, I loved that in the episode. And I think that was the right choice. Why did you feel strongly about that?
Well, like 28 days later, there's that. Oh, and even what's the one where they're in the mall? The updated version.
Dawn, Dawn of the
Dawn,
Dead.
yeah, Dawn of the Dead. Even though it's daylight and they're in the mall, there's still dread, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I feel like really good zombie movies have that dread because without it, the tension is gone and you're just kind of watching dead people chase after. You need it. You need it to
Right.
build up the tension. You need it to ramp up the story. And yeah, I don't see a zombie movie without it unless you're doing something funny like Shaun of the Dead. But even that,
Even that has some
even
tension.
that has its tension. Yeah. So
Good. Well, the other part of the episode, of course, is the Ortega storyline, where we start to see the cracks forming with her trauma. I guess just where do you feel? Where do you come down with how Una reacted to her? Did you think Una was doing the right thing? Do you think she overstepped a bit? There was a lot of conversations about what would Pike have done differently. Did Una do the right thing? I mean, to the episode's credit, it got a lot of people talking.
yeah, I personally, if I remember correctly, because this was one of the first times we showed Una really being in charge without Pike being there.
Hmm.
And so I think that her calling Ortega's out after the mission, like she didn't call her out during while she was doing what she was doing. She waited until afterward and gave her a chance to speak for herself.
Hmm.
And she reprimanded her, but not in a way that took her from the job. So Ortegas was given that chance in my head to process exactly what's going on with her and why she's making the decision she's making. And Una gave her that opportunity to do that in private between the two of them. She didn't embarrass her in front of everybody. She didn't make light of the situation either. I guess the difference that Pike would have done is had it in the kitchen.
That's probably
over some pancakes or something.
You're not wrong. Now I want that scene.
It's just like, Erica, sit down.
Sometimes you have to do that as a parent. You're like, you were just hangry. Let me give you some food. And then we're going to talk about why that was not the right reaction, your behavior.
Exactly. But I feel Pike would have, I think any officer would call out the subordinate that did not follow orders. Because at the end of the day, it's a military vessel and there's rules and there's ranks. And if people aren't following orders, it all falls apart.
And were you able to use some of your time in the military, your experiences in that scene, and maybe with Erica's PTSD in general?
A little bit. I don't remember diving very deeply in there. There was already an understanding of how we wanted Una to respond. I do remember, though, on set, I was trying to show Melissa how to do an about face. But I felt so silly because everyone's looking. I'm like, okay, just make it look more sharp. Oh, poor Dan. He's so sweet. He let me do it, just trying to help her out.
Maybe about face have evolved over 300 years or so. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a really nice sharp turn when you know how to do it. Remember from basic training, we really had to. You have to know your turns. You have to know your left face, your right face, and your about face.
Well, and it means so much. That's kind of her being like, I disagree with this, but I am now going to follow orders. Yeah, I love that scene. I thought it was that kind of competency porn we come to Star Trek for, where everyone, even when they mess up, they respond in a mature way. And it's just Ortegas being brought to the principal.
Yeah, that's what I love about Trek as well. And I remember talking about that within this script because Pike and Battelle have their argument. And it's an argument between two people who are emotionally intelligent and emotionally aware and who have run ships. So the way they're going to handle this argument is going to be a little different than maybe how Uhura would have handled it or someone younger.
Well, and they are peers, like you say, yeah.
Exactly. And there's fear in there, but there's also this need for respect, and they also love each other. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed seeing that. And that is the thing with Trek, where we write about humans who are facing some deep emotions, but at the end of the day, they tend to have some emotional intelligence and really think deeply about what it is they're doing, which is great.
Some aspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both episodes, as you say, all Trek, but I think both of these episodes, because they are such big genre swings, it stands out that they also have these very kind of relatable human moments. I love that scene between Pike and Battelle where, like, you just see on his face, he's struggling to comprehend something someone he loves is going through that he can't. Or even another thing I can relate with, maybe a bit more comically, is when Spock's trying to help Battelle with her pain and clearly not doing the best job with that. And that's a position I've been in too. And Through the Lens of Time also has a lot of great kind of just human moments in the elevator with Spock and Chapel.
Yes.
Were those things like you go into the script going like, we need to sprinkle these through, or are you just looking for opportunities as you're writing?
During the overarching season, when we're doing the planning, we do say, okay, this is, and when we dive in deeper, I think some things shift and change, but there are moments like Through the Lens of Time, there was that moment to show very quickly where Spock and Chapel are at, and to get the audience to that moment, then we can move on, right? If you don't put that in, then the audience might start asking questions like, well, what happened last time we saw them? There was a wedding happening.
Right. Yes.
And so those moments are sprinkled in there in order not only to answer the question of where they're at, but for myself, I like to think about where each person is last season and at the top of the season and what hasn't been said. And I bring it up in the room, or another writer will bring it up, and then we'll find a spot to put it in the episode. And this one happened to be a Chapel focused episode. So if you're focusing on Chapel, you need to answer questions about where Chapel is in her life.
Okay. Oh, and also, I mean, bringing it back to Battelle, both episodes deal a lot with what she's struggling with, which is her isolation, and that she's going through something that she can't explain to herself, let alone anyone around her.
Right.
How did you kind of find that element of her?
I just really thought about the character. So they live in, the more you write, the more characters live in your head, and you kind of understand where they're coming from. And so you have Battelle, who lost her ship and is now just sitting around on her boyfriend's ship, while there's some really hard, the more she learns about what happened to her with the Gorn, the more she finds out that she might not live, or if she lives, she's going to become something else. And I'm sure, I remember the only thing she wanted was to be a captain of a starship. She didn't ask for any of this. And so it's not, once you get that in your head, it's not as difficult to start writing from the character space.
Oh,
Plus Melanie, she knows the character really well. It was fun talking to her on set. And seeing, it was the first time I got to work with her. So, so that was really, really fun, seeing how she interpreted the script and elevated it. Like the actors elevate what's on the script, and it's fun. So,
yeah. What do you feel like she brought to it?
she brought a lot of passion, especially in that scene in Lens of Time where she and Gamble are fighting. It was such a moment. That was such a moment. And she was game for it, and she's just really brought all her passion to that scene and to everything that is Battelle. You know, so yeah.
And then how about the other characters you got to work with with these episodes? Beto and Corby, of course. Like, what was your approach to writing these new characters?
So Beto was more focused on what his mission was in the episode, because it was going to be important for other episodes down the line. And so we're setting that up. For Corby, it was really just challenging his beliefs in science, challenging what he was willing to sacrifice, and deepening his relationship with Chapel. And so it was fun writing both of them. We didn't know who the actors were or who they were going to be. So you're writing kind of blind versus the rest of our cast. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, we have the version of Corby from TOS that we look back on, but this is our opportunity to create a new voice. And I remember following, I think it was, Davy's lead as far as like how Corby was going to be with Chapel. He made those moments really funny, especially like the elevator scene. And even the scene where they're talking and reconnecting over video. So that's a long way to say that I got a lot of my inspiration from my fellow writers, and they really helped me out there. So.
Yeah, I mean, Corby especially, we had just talked to Killian. He was our last interview. And, you know, it seemed like such a tricky character, right? Because we have to buy that Chapel would like him. So he's got to be like sincerely charming. But we also know what he's going to do, and he has to have that dark archaeologist, it's classic Star Trek mad scientist vibe as well. So like writing it, did you find that challenging to balance, or did it come naturally?
It came honestly with Bill and Davy's leadership. It came naturally, you know, and that's the best part about writing episodes with someone else, is that you have the person there to bounce ideas off of each other. Right. And I do remember that even though what you just said is true, and I also mentioned TOS, we're also still writing our version of Corby. And so that's really what was focused on as well. Like, you have the information, and you don't want to mess up the timeline, but you have the TOS Corby, but now he's younger. You don't want to because he doesn't know what he's going to do in the future. Right. So you can't really write it like, oh, I know, I'm just going to leave Chapel he doesn't know that right now. So there's a lot of, we know it, he doesn't know it. So you got to remember to write in that moment.
Yeah. Well, and even villains who are already villains are the good guys.
Yeah.
They believe so. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, what was the hardest, the most challenging part of writing Shuttle to Kenfori?
I am not good at technobabble.
There's a little bit of it in that episode.
Yes. So that was the hardest part for me. Thankfully, Bill is very good at technobabble. And so he really carried the weight there.
Hmm.
And we have great scientists that we can go talk to as well. So that was really helpful. And I think just capturing Pike and Mumbanga's friendship, because we
Hmm.
hadn't really seen them alone. And now it's season 3, and we were supposed to already have the audience should already feel like they understand their relationship, even though we hadn't seen it before.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of laying track between Mbanga and Pike and making it feel authentic,
Hmm.
not, oh, wait, we got to do this episode. They're friends, or whatever.
Yeah, we've been waiting for more of that because we definitely got the hint that they have a rich backstory, those two, in season 1.
Mhm.
And yeah, Bill was saying like that Akiva kind of, because he wrote that first episode, like he kind of has his idea of what they went through, and that it's your job as the writers to kind of inception into his mind and try to pull it out. Do you would you agree with that assessment?
I do. I think at the end of the day, we do follow Akiva's roadmap and what he wants. And what we do is we try to sprinkle in our own ideas, hoping
Hmm.
that it'll, well, help
Yeah.
build a character and build a backstory between the two. And so I remember, like, even the jokes about the cigar, that was something that was personal to Bill. And so he
Okay.
was able to put that in the script, right? And that made that scene very funny. So what I will say is that yes, Akiva does have in his mind what the characters are like. I think a lot of it is informed in the room and in the writing, but at the same time, we are allowed to take moments for scenes that we've had in our life and then put it into the script.
Hmm.
If
It's
that
like,
answers the question.
yeah, I
So
mean, it's like the chimera flower of Shuttle Kenfori, right? You've got to hybridize what's happening in his mind with what you're coming up with in
yes,
the room.
yes, exactly, exactly. Um, which is a fun challenge,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I was going to ask, like, in the whole season in the writers' room, is there something that you like felt you fought for in season 3? That something you felt important happen, or a character aspect that managed to make it in?
I fought for Gamble to be black.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a fight because it wasn't a fight. Like, wow, this has to happen.
I'd hope they weren't
Or
too
I'm
resistant
gonna,
to it.
yeah, I'm gonna fisticuff or whatever. That voice I just used. But anyways, I made a really good argument for why we shouldn't be afraid of him dying.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, it's a great opportunity for a new actor to, like, bam, he's been on Star Trek.
Yeah.
He's got
And
this now.
a big role, like basically two characters on Star Trek.
Exactly.
Very
So
different characters.
exactly. And so that was one of my that I remember off the top of my head. That was one of the things that I spoke up about, that I strongly spoke up about. And I was really glad because Akiva was like, yes, yeah, of course. Yeah. He was great about that. So yeah, and it was fun because I got to meet the actor and he's so lovely.
I hope we
So,
get to talk to him soon. He's definitely one of the ones we're reaching out to, because again, I
yeah.
was blown away by his performance. As soon as he becomes the Bethesda, you're like, oh, this kid's got chops.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, even the scene where he's trying to keep Pike from coming into the into Mbanga's office,
Hmm.
watching him and Ansel like work that out. It was really fun. He definitely had some chops and he was really fun. And that's for me thinking down the road. Again, like I said, you have an actor who now has something to put on his resume, on his reel, that might help him get that next gig. And so yeah, that was my biggest like
Good. And yeah, I'm glad you're thinking kind of beyond just the scripts in the writers' room in that way. That's nice.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, how about through the lens of time? What was the most challenging part of writing that script? Davey said it was kind of just the physically plotting the rooms and kind of that cross coverage. Your
Yeah, that
eyes
was
tell
it.
me.
That was difficult. I think the other portion that was difficult was in the early stages. Spock and Chapel's relationship changed and shift, and
Hmm.
that episode relied so much on where they were at, like what
Hmm.
their attitudes were going to be towards each other. So I think that was a little bit difficult. We landed on something obviously, and it was really good, and light, but you kind of have to sit and wait and see where the emotion for the episode lands with the higher ups, and
Yeah.
then and then change as you need it. So that and the mapping out of the of the puzzle, that was something. David did great on that.
Yeah. It sounds like
Yeah.
that's one of those things that's easy to write. Like, yeah, they have a cross conversation between time and dimensions. And then the director's like, excuse me?
I know. So what does it look? And the set design, I mean, everyone has to kind of envision what you're trying to write
Mm-hmm.
and make it look real. So yeah, Davies D&D master definitely he's really good at that too. Definitely came it just shined. So
Wow.
that's like I say that.
It's a bucket list to join a Davy Perez D&D game.
Yes.
Well, so again, both episodes, I think we touched on this at the beginning, you know, they're their own standalone stories and very good that way, but they're also really big in the season-long tapestry and what happens throughout between Battelle and Pike and, of course, the final episode. Did you find any constraints in that and having to kind of balance the serialization with the episodic, or not so much?
While writing, no, because again, that had been something that we plotted out in the room. So we had we had an idea of where the season was going to end and which episodes needed to carry that storyline through. And I just happened to be on two of those episodes. And in my head, Trek is, or at least Strange New Worlds, has always been continuity with emotions and what the characters have gone through, and then the action is different, the pew pew pew. But just because the Gorn has attacked, it doesn't mean that what happened to Ortega's didn't happen, right? And so I didn't find it too difficult.
Okay. All right. Well, Onitra, we've come to the time where we get to talk about the future, because you did work on season 4, which we are now already highly anticipating now that season 3 is over. So what is one word that does not spoil anything, but when we see it, we'll snap our fingers and do the Leo gif from season 4?
I'm going to say more hijinks, which is two
More
words.
hijinks. We'll take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hijinksier?
Hijinks
Yeah,
here,
okay.
Elevated, extreme hijinks.
Excellent. Well, after season 3, I am definitely intrigued.
Yes.
We're looking
It'll
forward
be
to
fun.
Puppet Jinx, for sure.
Yes,
We know about that.
yeah, that was announced. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun in that episode, and I think season 4, yeah, a lot of hijinks.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on to talk to us about your episodes from season 3 and season 3 in general. And yeah, we look forward to talking to you again in season 4.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks again to all of the writers and all of you for joining us for our Strange New Words series. We've been super excited and honored to bring the stories, behind the people bringing us the stories to you in such a timely fashion while the season was airing. We do still have our second annual showrunner retrospective with both Akiva Goldsman and Henry Alonso Myers coming up that should be dropping next week. They are currently filming season 5, so scheduling is being tricky, but it's in the works, it's planned, it should be happening. We hope to drop it next week. If you don't see anything hit the feeds next week, maybe just give it a week and we should have it by then. After that will be our annual Retro Spectacular, where we get to hear from all of you about your thoughts on season 3. We'll kind of relive the whole summer all over again. Jesse and I, I'm sure, will get into loggerheads over something, and that will be dropping after the showrunner episode. After that, we'll be switching gears into our bi-weekly drops. That's twice a month, every 2 weeks, not twice a week. Can't do that all year long. But we do have a lot of great stuff coming, a lot of great interviews, guests, topics to cover. We're going to keep the spirit of Strange New Worlds alive while we wait for season 4. And be sure to clean up after yourself. Be sure to tip your server. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.